Aristotle's Poetics, chapters 2 and 3. 2. Since the objects of imitation are men in action, and these men must be either of a higher or a lower type, for moral character mainly answers to these divisions, goodness and badness being the distinguishing marks of moral differences, it follows that we must represent men as either better than in real life, or as worse, or as they are. It is the same in painting. Polyglotnus depicted men as nobler than they are, Pauson as less noble, Dionysus drew them true to life. Now it is evident that each of the modes of imitation above mentioned will exhibit these differences, and become a distinct kind in imitating objects that are thus distinct. Such diversities may be found even in dancing, flute playing, and lyre playing. So again in language, whether prose or verse unaccompanied by music. Homer, for example, makes men better than they are, Cleophon as they are, Hegemon the Thasian, the inventor of parodies, and Nicochares, the author of the Deliad, worse than they are. The same thing holds good of dithyrambics and gnomes. Here, too, one may portray different types, as Timotheus and Philoxenus differed in representing their Cyclops. The same distinction marks off tragedy from comedy, for comedy aims at representing men as worse, and tragedy as better than in actual life. 3. There is still a third difference, the manner in which each of these objects may be imitated. For the medium being the same, and the objects the same, the poet may imitate by narration, in which case he can either take another personality as Homer does, or speak in his own person unchanged, or he may present all his characters as living and moving before us. These, then, as we said at the beginning, are the three differences which distinguish artistic imitation: the medium, the objects, and the manner. So that from one point of view, Sophocles is an imitator of the same kind as Homer, for both imitate higher types of character. From another point of view, of the same kind as Aristophanes, for both imitate persons acting and doing. Hence some say the name of drama is given to such poems, as representing action. For the same reason the Dorians claim the invention of both tragedy and comedy. The claim to comedy is put forward by the Megarians, not only by those of Greece proper, who allege that it originated under their democracy, but also by the Megarians of Sicily, for the poet Epicharmus, who is much earlier than Chionides and Magnus, belonged to that country. Tragedy, too, is claimed by certain Dorians of the Peloponnese. In each of these they appeal to the evidence of language. The outlying villages, they say, are by them called Kappa Omega Mu Alpha Iota, and by the Athenians Delta Eta Mu Iota, and they assume that comedians were so named not from Kappa Omega Mu Alpha Zeta Epsilon Ida Nu. To revel, but because they wandered from village to village, Kappa Alpha Ta Alpha, Kappa Omega Mu Alpha Sigma, being excluded contemptuously from the city. They add also that the Dorian word for doing is Delta Rho Alpha Nu, and the Athenian Pi Rho Alpha Ta Ta Epsilon Iota Nu. This may suffice as to the number and nature of the various modes of imitation.